All right, what's going on, guys? And I'm back with another video. Yeah, I'm pretty sure some of you were not expecting me to do a StreamYard video again. Yeah, I mean, obviously this video is not live. It's premiered. It's being premiered right now as we speak. I was just trying to find the right time to, record, find some free time where I'm not, doing stuff. So, yeah, because originally I was gonna record my thoughts on it, but I'm like, I might as well just do a live stream, so that way I don't have to go and edit stuff and things of that nature. But yeah, so I want to give my thoughts on the whole Chris Rock Will Smith uh debacle. Give my brief thoughts on Chris Rock's selective outrage comments towards Will, and pretty much show the article when it comes to Will Smith's response to Chris Rock's selective outrage response. So a few months ago, Will Smith did a YouTube video, and I pretty much gave my thoughts on, and I did a reaction to Will Smith's apology to Chris Rock. And I even said at the time, like, this doesn't seem. Yeah, I was thinking, like, maybe he feels somewhat sorry for what he did, but then another part of me just looked like it was staged, And I brought it up when I did the video, like the camera work, the deep, breathing that he was doing before he started talking. His water was on the camera. You know, it just seemed it looked staged, and it looked like a Q&A setup. I've said this, when I did my reaction towards Will. It just seemed staged, and he didn't truly address the situation. And I mean, he did, but he was trying to find a way to, like, not make Jada look bad, as if it wasn't her fault and it was 100% him, even though he did slap Chris, like it was him that did it. But she kind of, doing her little manipulative, like, hey, like, look, we just said, the look that she gave towards, Chris obviously was offended. She wasn't offended when Will slapped Chris, and Chris, was like, oh, he's smacked the shit out of me. And there was a clip of Jada actually laughing after Chris Rock, said what he said after he got slapped, you know. And then of course the infamous "keep my name out your fucking mouth" or keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. It was to this day it's still crazy how that shit even went down. Um, but yeah, like I said, I did a reaction to Will Smith's apology, and I said at the time, and I still stand by it to this day, that it did not seem legit. Like, and maybe he believes some of it, that he does feel somewhat apologetic about it, but overall, like, it was just a cluster. So Chris Rock did his Netflix special Selective Outrage, where he wasn't just talking about Will, he was talking about other stuff too. But I wanted to specifically talk about Will in the situation. And it looked like to me that Chris Rock, well, I mean, it's pretty clear. I'm sure Chris Rock knew about Will Smith's apology on YouTube. And it seems pretty clear that he did not buy Will Smith's apology. I find it interesting, though, that, looking back at Will Smith's video, and Will brought up how he tried to, get in contact with Chris, or he was trying to find ways to get in contact with Chris, and Chris actually brought up how he actually never reached out to him. But he said that when he's ready, he's willing to talk. Well, Chris instead, what he did was he pretty much went off on Will Smith on stage, and boy, did he say a lot of shit about, and that's why it's called selective outrage because, and Chris brought it up too that, hey, you have all these people fucking with Will, pretty much. He has his wife Jada, who doesn't give a shit about. I mean, let's be real. She don't give a fuck about him because, for one, she wouldn't even let that happen. I mean, obviously, Will, like, he saw and then he went and he did, but at the same time though, like, she's in control of him. She's in control of him because at first, we all saw that he was laughing at the joke at the time. He was laughing like, hey, it was funny, but the look she gave, clearly she didn't find it funny. She found it funny once Chris got slapped. Then she found it funny. It's ridiculous. But you got this woman playing with his emotions. He's doing. They did a Red Table Talk show about how she cheated on him. Basically, Will Smith was being interviewed by the woman that cheated on him with their son's friend. And Chris Rock brought it up like, hey, you got all these people screwing with you, but of all people, you take your aggression out on you take it out on me. You got all these other people criticizing you and talking their shit after what you did, and basically you don't do shit, but you choose me to slap around because you knew, because you knew that basically that Chris Rock wasn't going to do anything. He was actually going to be professional, and then on top of that, this dude's much bigger than me, so of course, he'll pick and choose somebody who he knows he could get away with, slapping. Because if it was anybody else, the same size or even bigger than him, that would have never happened. Which I do agree with. I don't think that Will would have done it to anybody else. Like if it was The Rock or if it was, anybody else, you know, that's bigger and bigger in status too, but also bigger than him, physically. I don't think Will Smith would have done that to anybody who would have said that joke. But Chris Rock, he would have been able to get away with that, which in a way he did because I mean, the way Chris Rock handled it, he never sued Will, he never fought back towards Will, but instead he chose to do a show about it. And like I said already, it looks like Chris Rock did not buy into Will Smith's apology. People are bringing up how Chris Rock he decided to respond back to Will after what happened and this, that, and the other. But I think also what it is that he saw what Will Smith had to say in his apology, and he saw what pretty much what I'm pretty sure nobody's brought it up. But I brought it up on the video when I did it that he basically was apologizing, but at the same time trying to defend Jada, saying like, "Hey, I did what I did. It's not her fault. Like she's got nothing to do with it. Like, no, dude. Like, come on, stop. Just stop." And I think Chris saw that and just said, like, "Dude, you're full of shit. Like, your apology means nothing to me because how do you apologize and then on top of that, of course, how staged it looked. Chris Rock probably really saw that and was like, what the fuck? Like, you got all this production to make it like you're doing all this over the top bullshit to apologize to me to make like Chris Rock probably didn't buy it. So he decided to go off on Will. Brought up the whole entanglement situation. He just went off. I mean, he probably could have said way worse, but that was good enough to for people to be like, whoa, like he went there like that, which I don't blame Chris. I don't blame Chris for doing this, handling it this way. You know, I don't blame Chris for one, how he feels, but two, the way he handled it. And after this, he's pretty much moving on from the situation, which he should. So it is what it is, you know. So Will Smith responded. Well, sources are saying that he responded. So let's go ahead and screen share for you guys. Okay, give me one moment. Okay, there we go. It's just waiting for this to load. Okay. How did Will Smith respond to Chris Rock's selective outrage? All right, so how did Will Smith respond to Chris Rock's selective outrage? According to several sources, not that well. So Will is embarrassed and hurt by what Chris said about him and his family in his Netflix special. Well, as far as the embarrassed part, I get because Chris pretty much roasted him and Jada. But so you're hurt by what he said. Well, dude, you hurt him physically. like, like not only did you hurt him physically, but you hurt him emotionally too. Because like Chris said, like he supported Will over the years. Like they were actually, and like Will Smith said, like they had a great relationship, until this, But it's like how do you think Chris feels? And you're hurt by it, dude. So you're hurt by what Chris had to say, but you're fine with the woman that you're with after what she did to you. You know what I'm saying? And and ironically, just like what Chris Rock said, like she's hurt him more than he hurt him. Hurt Chris. But you're letting, but this woman is not only cheating on you, but is in control of your life, pretty much. It's like, dude, you got no one to blame but yourself. At the end of the day, you got no one to blame but yourself. And then you made it even worse when you did that video on YouTube, where you pretty much let her, get a pass. Like you defended her while you were trying to apologize to Chris, like as if she had nothing to do with it. Like, dude, it's clear as day, man. It's clear as day. He didn't watch it, but he had people tell him what Chris said. I mean, I don't know. I don't. A part of me doesn't buy that that he didn't see it, but it is what it is, I guess. It's everywhere when you look online and on social media. So Will and Jada have seen comments about it. So they're pretty much aware of it, what he's actually said. So the source added, Will apologized to Chris and would like for Chris to let it go. Well, for one, your apology was bullshit. So you could say that you apologize all you want. At the end of the day, man, your apology was not that good. I mean, it might look good, like the way you were trying to explain it, and some people were actually saying, "Hey, I forgive Will," but from my perspective, dude, your apology was lackluster, man. Your apology was lackluster. Apologize to Chris. I would like for Chris to let it go. Like, dude, you slapped the man. Like you embarrassed him in front of millions of people. As I do, like he is letting it go. Like he's moving on from here. It's like your apology doesn't mean, well, for one, make doing an apology doesn't mean people are gonna automatically forgive. For one, and two, again, you embarrassed him in front of millions of people. So if Chris is going to address it, he's going to address it, and he did address it. And obviously, he still felt hurt for what you did. Will has worked on himself, and he is banned by the Oscars for 10 years. Oh wow, like okay, yeah, I'm sure that's gonna hurt him. Like, come on now. He feels like that's enough and wants Chris to move on. He is moving on. The fuck? What the fuck? So he and everyone else can too. Like, dude, stop with this whole high road. Shut up. Shut up. Will is also upset that Netflix was a part of this and thinks Chris insulting Jada again is below the belt. So let me get this straight. So what he's doing, him responding to you. So him finally getting this off his chest, and him insulting the woman who again has cheated on you, embarrassed you in front of people. What she's doing is not below the belt, but Chris insulting the woman who, let's be real, she deserves it. She deserves it because not only because of what happened at the Oscars, but also what she did, what she's done to Will himself. I tell you, man, like Will, like he's so you're working on yourself, but you're still with this woman. You know what I mean? It just makes no sense, man. Like, obviously, this woman does not give a fuck about Will, but hey, let's give this woman a fucking pass. Oh yeah, like, where was I? Yeah, he's upset about that Netflix gave Chris the platform to share these messages. I think is distasteful. So, and again, so basically, Chris is not allowed to respond. He's not allowed to give his emotions out or get his emotions out and address what he's been holding for the past year or so. For one, these people could do whatever they want. Like if they want Chris to do a show and give his thoughts on the whole situation, or just do a show, period, they have every right to do that. Just like you had every right, although you really didn't, to assault the man. So, though the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air actor still has a lot to say since he felt terrible for so long about smacking Chris at the Oscars, he's tried unsuccessfully to make amends in the best way he could with Chris. Well, like I said, obviously Chris did not buy into what Will Smith had to say. Throughout his set, Chris teased some jokes alluding to the slap by saying words hurt. Anybody who says that words hurt has never been punched in the face. He ended his set by calling Will Shook Smith. I think that's probably what got me laughing the most. What Chris was saying, Shook Smith. Oh man, and the way he said it too was funny. A reference to the currently incarcerated Death Row Records CEO Suge Knight, who was sentenced to 28 years in prison in 2018 for manslaughter. Yeah, Suge Knight, like he's fucked up. Rock was taking out his anger over his wife's entanglement with musician August Alsina, which was discussed on her show Red Table Talk in 2020. And this is exactly why Chris said what he said, because, dude, the woman cheated on not only cheated on you, but with your son's friend. Your son's friend. Like, dude, that's beyond. Like, okay, like just imagine though. Just imagine if the roles were reversed. Like, let's say like Will, uh, was dating Willow Smith's friend. You know, like dude, Will would be canceled. Period. Like he'd be canceled for forever. He'd be called a predator and all this other stuff. Like, dude, this woman needs to. Will needs to get the fuck up out of there, man. Like, not only she's a cheater, but she's just fucked. Like, she's fucked up, man. I don't know. It's a weird situation, but so yeah. I mean, the rest of the article pretty much quotes what Chris Rock was saying and stuff. When he was going off on Will. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get this out. Yeah, so my overall thoughts, man, like, Will Smith having an issue with Chris Rock, for basically responding and all this other stuff. As I do, like, there's a reason why, man. And obviously Chris Rock sees what other people like me and other people see. Like, dude, your apology was not sincere. Maybe a little bit of it was, but overall, man, like, it was staged as fuck. It was staged as fuck. And Chris saw that and was like, dude, this dude ain't he ain't truly apologetic about those situation. He ain't apologetic, because if it was, for one, it wouldn't be exact what it was, this big production, this big sponsoring their sponsoring their water bottle and all this other stuff, man. Like, it looked staged, you know. So as I do, like, I but your wife needs to take accountability for what she did too. She didn't physically tell Will, hey, go handle that, but she didn't even have to say anything. Obviously, Will saw the look on her face and was like, "Oh shit, I gotta do something, bro." And obviously, he wasn't thinking clearly. He wasn't thinking clearly, and that he did what he did. But after he laughed at it, he saw the look on her face, like, "Yeah, I gotta do something." And then he ended up doing what he did. You know. Now, in other circumstances, you know, I could understand why. I mean, I get why he's embarrassed, because Chris is just in front of a live audience. Ironically, the same way how you embarrassed him in front of a live audience. Um, but at the same time, though, your wife is no saint, man. Like, she has done a lot of fucked up and shit that has been out in public because you guys put it out there. So it is what it is, though. So that's pretty much what I gotta say about it. I mean, I'm pretty sure this situation is done with overall, unless something else happens where Will Smith, like, he gets, he's hurt, to the point where he wants to slap Chris Rock again or something. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens, but that's pretty much what I gotta say about it. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and see you guys next time. Peace.